Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back with another Fortnite tips and tricks video for you guys. And in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to get the best loot every single game to get easy kills and easy wins here in Fortnite. I'm going to give you guys simple tips that you can follow to give yourself the best chance of winning every single game. Because if you're stacked, if you have max materials, the best guns you could have, and full shield, you're going to be winning so many more games if you guys can follow these tips in this video. And before we get into the video, if you guys want to enter my 2,000 V-Buck giveaway, all you have to do is drop a like on this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. If you want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, make sure you guys enter. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Okay, so I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks as well as commentating over my gameplay just to help you guys out. So when it comes to the early game, if you guys want to get stacked in the early game, you want to come out of wherever you're landing. For this game, I was landing Tilted Towers. If you want to come out of Pleasant Park, come out of Salty Springs, if you want to come out of places like that with a lot of health, a lot of extra shields, what you want to do is you kind of have to play really aggressive. You can't play too passive, because what you want to do is when it comes to these places like this, when it comes to different houses, say if you land Pleasant Park and there's a bunch of different houses to go to, the whole idea is you wanted to get to as many chests as you possibly can, because that is your best chance of getting the most shield. And how you want to do that, if there's people landing there a ton, what you want to do is you want to be able to loot very quickly, grab all the guns you need, maybe just grab 1-2 guns, and then you want to push another house and try to kill the other players who are getting the loot. Because the second, if you play too slow and you're not playing fast enough, what's going to happen is they're going to get the shield from their chest, and after you say, even if you play slow and you kill everybody in Pleasant Park, after you get up Pleasant Park, you're going to have no extra shields, no extra heals, because they're going to be using them all. They're going to use all their shields. So if you want to come out of places with a lot of shield and a lot of really good loot, you're going to have to play very quickly. It doesn't really apply when it comes to guns, because when you kill the guy, you get their gun. But when it comes to shield, and I think shield is really important in Fortnite, if you want to come out of place with a lot of shield, you have to play very quickly. If not, other players are going to use the shield and you're not going to have any left. And that's just something to really focus on when it comes to the early game. You don't really want to worry about getting the best weapons, because I would say in the late game, that's where you get your best weapons, your double barrels. For me, I like the double barrel the most. I think it's completely overpowered. The blue tag is also really good because they buffed it. The pump, nah, it's alright. Sometimes you get 9 damage, sometimes you do a lot of damage, but the double barrel by far is the best shotgun in my opinion. So that's what I'm going for in the end game. And the scars, the bolt actions, the minis, and that's what I want to have in the late game. And you don't really want to focus on getting the weapons in the early game. What you want to focus on, of course, is those minis, and you want to play very aggressive to do so. So in the beginning, really focus on getting minis and not so much weapons. As long as you have, I'd say, a gray AR and maybe just a regular pump, or maybe even a gray attack, just anything that can do a decent amount of damage to a player, that's all you really need. And of course, it all depends on your landing location, because if you land somewhere like Tilted Tower, there's going to be a ton of people there. But if you land somewhere, kind of on the outskirts of the map, or somewhere where not a lot of players go, of course you have all the time in the world to loot up and completely stack. So if you're really struggling to get a lot of loot in the beginning, maybe you're not killing as many players, what you can do is you can play a little bit more passive and maybe not drop somewhere like Retail Row, Pleasant Park, Tilted. You can drop somewhere a little bit more passive and play as slow as you want and still get actually pretty stacked in the game if you play a passive job. For me, I like to go for a ton of kills. I like to go all out for kills every single game. It doesn't mean I play all out aggressive the entire time, but I usually play I like to play pretty aggressive. So that's what I do in the early game, play really aggressive. You're going to get a lot of shield. And when it comes to the mid game and how you want to get stacked in there, is really you want to pretty much pick and choose your fights. You don't want to play too aggressive, because if you don't have a lot of shield, you really want to play up the amount of health and amount of shield you have, because most of the time in the mid game there might be a few players that have a decent amount of loot. They can have a decent amount of minis, decent amount of big shields, but most of the time you're really only going to find bandages or maybe even med kits from players. You're not going to find too much loot. You're going to find like I said, you're going to find a ton of loot in the end game. But when it comes to the mid game, you really want to play careful, because you don't want to play overly aggressive, because if you don't have any health through the entire game, you're going to get screwed over in the end game, because that's when everybody's going to be stacked. But when it comes to the mid game, this is where you really want to focus on getting your mats up a little bit. You don't have to have max materials, of course, but maybe just having 500-600 of wood, couple hundred brick, couple hundred steel, and you're going to be set that way. The mid game is also really good for getting a lot of ammo, because I know if you play slow the entire game from beginning to end, a lot of the times in the end game you can get screwed over from not having enough ammo, because if you only have like 60 AR shots, a lot of times you're going to be running out of ammo very quickly unless you just completely nail them for every single shot. So you want to make sure that you get enough ammo in the mid game. One thing I definitely recommend doing is, a lot of times, say if I don't have any shield, for instance, when I'm in Tilted Tower and say I don't have any shield at all, what I would do is I would go right here in this gameplay. It would be to my left, it would be north by the trailer park, and as well the factories. Those are two really good spots that I rotate to if I don't have enough mats. There's some mats over there, and it's a really good rotation spot for the circle as well. But if I don't have enough shield, shield, that's a place I go because that's pretty much the only way you're gonna get shield. So if you don't have any shield at all, you want to try to find places that would potentially have shield, places that are potentially unlooted. And factories a lot of times isn't looted. Not a lot of people land there. From time to time, of course, some people will. But for the most part, people are not going to land there. So if you're going to need a shield, you always want to try to find out or try to look for places that probably haven't been looted. Fighting in Fortnite with low health is probably the worst. And if you don't have any health at all, and maybe you go into 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 gunfights, and you end up killing them, you barely kill them. But if they don't have any shield either, that's where you're going to get screwed over. If they don't have any shield and you don't have any shield, you're going to get really screwed over when it comes to later and later in the game because you're fighting more and more people and you don't have the health. We all know that one garbage player, like it happens almost every single game for me. I don't know if you guys have the same problem too, but it happens almost every single game. I get absolutely lasered by probably arguably the worst player in the lobby. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm in a gunfight, right? This even happens all the time too, where I'm in the gunfight, I destroy this man. I'm talking absolutely destroy this guy. Maybe at 200 health, I hit this guy for like 190 or 195, completely drain this guy's health, and then at the last second before I killed him, this guy hits me with the luckiest RNG pump shot, or this dude nails me in the head with the scar, or pulls out a minigun and tags me, and just completely drains me of all my shield and some of my health. It's the most annoying thing ever when you're in a gunfight like that. You make the guy completely one shot. They're so weak. It's an easy kill. They haven't touched you the entire gunfight, and then they get the most lucky RNG shot of their life, and they're so bad. They're so bad. It happens almost every single game to me. But when it comes to the late game, say if you don't have all the shields you want, you don't have the weapons you want per se, or don't even have enough mats, what you can do in the end game, this is where you're gonna get stacked, because in the end game it's gonna be full of a bunch of players who've been fighting the entire game, and a lot of times they're gonna be the ones with the max materials, the best weapons, the scars, everything you can want. So in the end game is where you're gonna find the players with all the heals, with pretty much everything you could want. You're gonna find that in the end game, because of course there's supply drops as well. I just killed a bot right there. That dude was completely close. I was running into some bots, complete bots yesterday. I don't know what was going on. Maybe I was getting some good lobbies. Maybe I'm just on Xbox. I'm not sure what it was, but I was getting some easy lobbies too with some really new players. See, if you want to play for the win, you want to play super slow for the win, and you play like that the entire game. If you can just kill maybe 1 or 2 players in the late game, I guarantee you're gonna have all the weapons you want, all the materials in the world, and that's just what it really comes down to. If you want to get stacked for in the late game, I gave you all the tips for the mid game and the early game and how you can get stacked in that. But when it comes to the late game, if you want to get stacked there, you really only have to kill 1 or maybe even 2 players in the late game, because that's where you're gonna find all the shields, all of the mats, all of the health. You're gonna find everything in the late game. And oh my god, that snipe was nutty, boys. That snipe was nutty. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. But as you can see in this game, I have pretty much everything that I could want. I have a good amount of materials. I got a scar, double barrel, LMG. And that's another thing. The LMG, I think I gotta say, it's better than the SMGs. Any SMGs, if you find an LMG, definitely pick that up over the SMG. It does so much more damage, has 100 rounds. It's like a drum gun, but with a 100-round mag. That's literally what this gun is. It is so good. I definitely recommend trying out this LMG if you guys have not already. And that guy got thirsted by another team. That guy got absolutely binked from 200 meters. When it comes to my preferred loadout, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, it is obviously the scar. Of course, the scar is gonna be the #1 gun for a rifle. It's just really just too good. And then I gotta go with the double barrel. That gun's completely overpowered. A body shot's like 130, and a headshot's like 180. Absolutely insane. And then it goes LMG, or maybe even a P90. I would probably say LMG over that. And then the sniper. The sniper's been absolutely clutch. I've dinked 2 guys this game so far with my sniper. It's just clutched me out of so many times. Like, if you get screwed over, you know that your sniper can actually hit for 100 damage. Unlike the pump, your sniper can actually hit for 100 damage. And it's clutched me out of so many situations. Actually, I probably take that back about the LMG or the SMG for the third slot. I would actually instead prefer an RPG. I think RPGs can come insanely clutch because they're not hard to use at all. They do like 150 damage. They're super good guns. I think I would probably go with that over an SMG or an LMG. So the AR, double barrel, RPG, of course, minis. You can have 3 big shields. I might actually prefer 3 big shields, and then of course a sniper. The thing is with shotguns is actually kind of interesting. A lot of people have different preferences. For me, like I said, the double barrel is the way to go for me personally. But some of you guys like the tac, some of you guys like the pump. It all really depends. Let me know what shotgun you guys are using. I really want to hear from you guys. And guys, that's gonna wrap up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something. If you did, make sure to drop a like on this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on my notifications. And alright guys, I will see you in the next video.